What if I told you that the main purpose of an ad has almost nothing to do with selling a product? It sounds crazy, right? Well, today we're diving into the Adweek Copywriting Handbook by the absolute legend Joseph Sugarman. We're going to uncover this one single, incredibly powerful rule of persuasion that is going to completely change how you think about communication. For real. Let's get into it. So, to really get what Sugarman is talking about, we first have to kind of unlearn something. I think most of us, and I'm including myself here, we think we know what a good ad or persuasive email is supposed to do. But what if those basic assumptions, what if they're just plain wrong? Okay, let me ask you a question, a really simple one. Just think about any advertisement you've ever seen. What is the single most important job of the headline? What's its main purpose?
Your brain probably went straight to things like grab attention, right? Or sell the product, or maybe highlight a key benefit. Yeah, these all sound perfectly logical, and honestly, they're the answers that pretty much everyone would give. And look, if you thought of those, you're in good company. They make perfect sense on the surface. But, and this is the big but, according to Sugarman, they completely miss the fundamental point. They aren't the real job, not even close.
So if it's not any of those things, then what is it? Sugarman says that every single element in an ad, we're talking the headline, the logo, the images, everything, is designed to do one and only one very specific thing. And here it is. This is Axiom 2 from his book. All the elements in an advertisement are primarily designed to do one thing and one thing only: get you to read the first sentence of the copy. Just let that sink in for a minute.
Yep, that's it. The clever headline, the beautiful pictures, the fancy logo, their entire reason for being isn't to sell you something or even to inform you. It's to do one tiny thing. Get your eyes to land on that first sentence and actually start reading it. That is their only job.
Now here's where it gets really cool. This one simple goal creates this kind of unstoppable momentum. Sugarman has a great name for it. He calls it the slippery slide. And it's basically a chain reaction that once it starts is incredibly hard to stop. Okay, so this leads to the next obvious question, right? If the headline's only job is to get you to read the first sentence, well, then what is the first sentence's job?
And you guessed it, the answer is just as simple and, frankly, just as brilliant. Axiom 3 says its sole purpose is to get you to read the second sentence. That's all it has to do. It's not there to make a big claim or list a feature, it's just there to keep you moving.
And that, my friends, is the slippery slide. You're building this powerful chain reaction. The headline gets you to sentence 1. Sentence 1 gets you to sentence 2. Sentence 2 gets you to sentence 3. Each piece just greases the rails for the next one, pulling the reader down the slide totally effortlessly.
This little cartoon from the book just shows it perfectly. See that? Each part literally just hands you off to the next. It creates this totally frictionless journey that pulls you from that very first glance right down into the heart of the message before you even know it's happening.
But why? Why does this work so incredibly well? Well, it's not just a clever writing trick. The slippery slide works because it taps into some really deep psychology. Sugarman called it creating a buying environment, but I always think of it as building yes momentum. See, here's the crucial bit. You're doing so much more than just getting them to read words. With every sentence they read, you're carefully building a specific atmosphere inside their head, an environment where they feel comfortable, where they start to trust you, and where they're just open to your idea. Sugarman has this fantastic story about it. He walks into an art gallery in Honolulu one day, and they don't just, point at a painting on the wall. No. They sit him down in this plush, comfortable chair. They put on classical music. They aim these perfect little spotlights at the art. They literally crafted an entire environment that made that painting feel almost impossible to resist. That is what your words need to do. Okay, so how in the world do you create that art gallery feeling with just text on a screen? The secret is harmony. You have to get the reader and the writer on the exact same wavelength, almost vibrating at the same frequency. And you do that by getting your reader to just nod their head, to say yes internally, over and over again. You start with really simple, true statements they absolutely cannot disagree with. Something like, "We all want to feel more productive." Who's going to argue with that? It creates this cascade of agreement, building this powerful momentum of trust and harmony. All right, let's pull all this together into a simple playbook, something you can actually use. This is the core of the Sugarman method, broken down into a few key principles for powerful persuasion. First, always remember the one goal. Everything is about getting that first sentence read.
Second, you build the slippery slide where each sentence effortlessly pulls the reader to the very next one. Third, you lead them down the yes path, building that harmony of agreement. And finally, you use all of that to create the perfect mental environment for your message to land.
And please, remember this is so much bigger than just writing ads. Think about that important email you have to send to your boss tomorrow, or that presentation you're putting together for your team. This is a fundamental framework for making any idea, big or small, really and truly stick in someone's mind.
So the next time you sit down to write something important, don't ask yourself, what's my killer headline? Instead, ask this: what story does my first sentence need to start that will make reading the second sentence absolutely irresistible?